Hi everyone, this is Crispy1001 at kpcoolstuff.com. This is a new series of videos that I'm going to be starting. This one is going to be on how to use maps for instruments and lamps. This is the first part of a two-part video. To get the Blender file for this tutorial, you'll be able to pick it up at fsdeveloper.com, forum, resources, categories, aircraft design, and you just need to put in or look for my name. It'll say Lamps Part 1 by Crispy1001. I'm also going to have it on my website, and if I will put this all this stuff as well on the YouTube videos information on the video page, but you can get it http://www.kp-coolstuff.com YouTube /blender2fsx/video1, and of course, like I said, I'll have all this on the YouTube page. And then, excuse me, if you don't have Blender, you can get it at blender.org. The Blender2fsx toolset you can get at FSDeveloper. You'll need GIMP 2.8 or Photoshop. You can get GIMP here at gimp.org. Special thanks to Captain X at FSDeveloper. He's the gentleman that made the Blender2fsx add-on that we use with Blender. He made the toolset. And then Dutch Blend and both Captain X both helped me with problems I've had. Excuse me again. If you have any questions, you can email me at crispy@kpcoolstuff.com. And then also I have my YouTube page you can go to. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with a pre-made Blender file already. This will be the Blender file you can download at fsdeveloper.com or my website. Right now it's just blank. I do have all the animations set up for it. So the first thing we need to do is do our UV unwrapping. So we'll start that now. I'm going to do a number pad 1 to make it front view. And make sure you hit 5 for orthographic. Then I'm going to select the outside of the instrument. I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. If you don't already have all the vertices selected, go ahead and hit the A to select all the vertices. We're then going to hit U, and I'm just going to do a unwrap. You see we're completely unwrapped now. I'm going to scale it down a little bit by hitting the S key, scale it down, and then grabbing it and moving it over. Okay. And I'm going to go hit Tab, you got edit mode. Next I'm going to go to the needle. And the needle we're going to have to set up how we want Blender to unwrap it for us. So we will select it. We'll go into edit mode. I need to go ahead and clear my seams because I already did it once. We're going to have to reset. We're going to mark all the seams where we want it to unwrap for us. So we're going to go and select edges. And we're going to hit A to unselect everything. And I'm going to select that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. So that should be the very front, and it is. So I'm going to go over here and click on UV mapping and mark seam. And if you didn't see what I did, I'm sorry, I should have showed you. I went to shading and the UV tab in the tool window. So now we have our front faces selected and seams are set up for it. Then we're going to click the back ones. Okay, now we have the back edges selected. We're going to mark them as seams as well. Then I'm going to come to the top. I'm going to select that one and that one, and there as seams. Mark seams. Now we're going to go back into vertex mode, hit A and select all. Now I'm going to unwrap it. I'm going to hit U and unwrap. Okay, I should have made it so I could see both things, and I'll show you how to do that. For right now, I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. And I'm going to grab it, move it over, right about right there. Okay, I'm going to hit Tab to go out of edit mode. I'm going to select the outside of our instrument. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, select the needle again, and go into Tab mode. And you can see it's going to show both. If yours does not show both of them, you need to go to View and make sure you have Draw Other Objects selected or checked. Okay, so we're going to increase the size a little bit on that to about like that. Grab it, move it up, and there we go. So I'm going to go, let's see, let's go ahead and hit edit mode, Tab to go to edit mode. I'm going to select the outside. Now, I have not been able to figure out yet how to have two different items or objects selected and do a UV map on them, or to print the UV map together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one at a time. Then when I get to GIMP, I'm going to combine them. So we're going to go ahead and do this UV, and we're going to, hitting UVs, go to Export UV Layout. I'm going to click in my UV Maps folder, and I'm going to name this one UV1. Enter and Export UV Layout. I'm going to hit Tab to go to edit mode. Select the next one, hit Tab, go down to UVs and Export UV Layout, UV Map. I'll click on that one, add a 2 to it, hit Enter, and Export Layout. Okay, so now we have our UV set up. I'm going to hit Tab, get out of edit mode, hit 1 to go back in the front orthographic view. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to add some materials. So we're going to select the needle, go to our Materials tab, hit New. I'm going to name this right now Needle. And right now we're just going to put normal settings. I'm not going to do anything on the FSX part of it because I'm going to use these mainly just for baking. So that's all these colors are going to be for. So we have that one set up. That's good enough. We're going to now select the outside ring. And we're going to give it a material. Name it Instrument M. And we'll go down. I'm going to set the same thing, intensity to 1. Diffused intensity to 1, specular intensity to 1, and everything else I'm going to leave the same. Now on this one, I'm going to give it a material. So we're going to go click on the materials, and I'm going to select and say New. Let me go look at something real fast. I need to delete some things. Sorry about that. because I've already did this once before to make sure I had the video correct. Okay, so these are the ones we're going to be starting out with. So I want to select the carbon fiber. So under textures, we will go down. We'll go open. We're going to go to our textures directory. Folder. We're going to hit or click on the carbon. Open file. We're going to scroll down, choose our UV map we gave the outside of the ring, and everything else will stay default. Okay, so that's good. Now to be able to see this start forming, let's see, we have that. Oh, we forgot the face. Oops, so I need to select the face. I also need to UV map it, so I haven't did that yet, so let's hit Tab. First I'm going to go and hit the number 1 pad on the numeric pad to go in front orthographic view. I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode, and the A to make sure everything's selected. Hit the U, and I'm just going to do an unwrap. Okay, that's good. Now when we add the texture to it, we will probably have to rotate the face to make sure that the instrument's face will line up correctly. So it can be read properly on the instrument. So let's hit Tab to go out of edit mode. We might as well go ahead and give it a texture, or a material. So let's go material. Oops. Let's delete that one. That shouldn't have been there. Okay, so we're going to give this a new material. I'm going to call it face. And we'll do a 1.0 on diffused intensity and a 1.0 on the specular intensity. Then I'm going to go to the materials. I'm going to make a new material or select a new material. I need to delete that old one. Oops, I moved it accidentally. Okay, we're going to make a new material. A new texture. I'm going to hit open, textures, and we're going to do airspeed PNG. We're going to scroll down, choose the UV map that we just made for the item or the object. Everything else will be left default. Okay, so that's set up. Now we're going to actually apply it to the UV so we can see it rendered on the screen. So we're going to go into edit mode. We're going to click on the little textures icon, and we're going to click on airspeed PNG. Okay, you can see over here that we need to rotate the face so the instrument can be read properly. So we're going to hit R for rotate. And that should be good enough. Okay. So now we have that set up. Oops, let's go to Tab. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to set up for our baking. So what I need to do, I need to go to our world icon. I want to turn on ambient occlusion, have it on multiply, probably on add, make multiply, environment lighting, energy level, I'll leave it 1.5, and samples 20, that's good. Okay, so now we have that all like that. We want to go back and select the outside ring, go Tab. We're going to make a new texture now to bake everything to. So let's go New. I'm going to call this Instrument Texture. I'm going to change it to 512 by 512. It's going to be black. I'm going to leave the alpha, leave it blank, make it 32-bit float, and say OK. Then I need to apply the same. Let's go ahead and save it first. So let's go Image, Save As, go to our textures. It'll be Instrument_T, save. Okay, now we want to tab out, select our needle, go tab, click on the little icon here for the textures, and click on the same Instrument_T. Okay. Now I'm going to go out of edit mode. I'm going to choose the outside ring and the needle. I'm going to go to my rendering, or baking, I'm sorry. If your baking isn't already open, go ahead and hit open. We're going to leave basically everything except for the margin. I'm going to make it margin of 10. We want to make sure, let's do a full render. And then we're going to bake. Okay. So you can see we have our baked material now. So we're going to make sure to save it. So save image. And from this one texture, we're going to use GIMP to do our light map, our specular map. I was going to do a normal map, but I want this instrument to be smooth, so we're not going to really do a normal map. But you can do it really easy, just the way I did it here. You just rename the instrument. You would go here, Bake Mode, and you'd hit Normals instead. You can also use GIMP or Photoshop for also doing your normal map. But it's really easy in GIMP. You would just click on Normals, and you would bake again, and it would bake your normal for you. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to use the normals on this one. And if everyone knows what a normal is basically the direction that your individual polygons or faces are facing. So you can show depth in your rendered texture. So you could actually take a higher res object with higher vertices, make a slower verticed object, still the same general shape, render a higher or do a normal map of your higher res object, and then apply that normal map to your lower res, and it'll give you a real nice depth, like you have a higher polygon object. So let's go ahead and go off of here. We've saved that now, so we're done with Blender right now. So we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and save everything I've done. So save, and we're going to go to GIMP next. Okay, so we're going to start making our specular map now. So before we do that, let's go ahead and open up our Flight Simulator text, our SDK text, and we're going to first go to, we want to go to Texturing Aircraft Models and hit Display. And we're going to go to Specular Map, and Alpha Channel is the fall off for the map. So if we scroll down, we go back and see that the important information, at least what we're looking at right now, is this part right here, Alpha Channel 8-bit gray. The lighter values is going to be a more sharp or detailed effect. a dark value is going to be a more blurred or a less detailed effect for that specular effect. So that's what we're going to have to remember there. So let's close that. We're going to go to our textures. First we need to go to our UV maps. We're going to combine our two UV maps. So let's open up one of them. And I'm going to go File and Open as Layer, the second one. So I have now both of them. I'm going to click on this layer. I'm going to go Layer and Merge Down. So now they're all one image. I'm then going to go File, Export and Overwrite UV1 PNG. I'll close this one. I'm going to delete number 2 now because I don't need it. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to go File and Open. I'm going to go to our textures. We're going to go to our instrument texture. And we're going to use this one as our starting point for the specular map. So we're going to go File, Save As. I'm going to name it Instrument _ Specular XCF. So I'm going to save it as a GIMP project. Hit Save. I'm going to replace because I already had one. Okay, so now I have that. Now I'm going to import the UV map that we have. So File, Open as Layer, our UV map. Okay, what did I do wrong? Because it's too large. Okay, let's see. This is a 512 by 512. Let me make sure. Maybe I did them off a little bit. This Open UV map. Click on it. Oh, it's a 1024 by 1024. Okay, so that's the problem. So we will go back to our GIMP. I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to close the. Nope. Go File and Open. Okay, what's wrong? There we go. UV maps. I'm going to open up our UV map again. Close this one. I'm going to rescale it. So Image, Scale Image, 512 by 512, and Scale. Go File, Overwrite UV1 PNG, Close, Discard. Open up our other one again. Let's go File and Open as Layer. Our UV, much better. Okay. So now, if you remember our specular map, anywhere we want to have the most intense specularity effect, we need to have white, and it falls off on the black. So I want to have the most specular effect right in the middle, which would be the very front faces of the instrument, around right in the middle, and it will go darker on the inside and the outside. So we're going to need to add a layer mask to our instrument _ T, which is now, I need to rename that as our specular. And I'm going to do a right mouse click on it and add layer mask. I'm going to start it out as all white, so all intensity, and add. I'm going to turn off or hide our UV for right now. I'm going to right click, go down and show layer mask. Okay, we'll go ahead and make that visible again. Okay, so now we can see, make sure that we have our specular map selected, and now we can start painting in how we want our specular intensity to be on this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to leave it on airbrush. I'm going to go to the settings for airbrush. I'm going to increase the size. Too big. That's better. I'm going to lower the rate down to about 50. And the flow, down to about 4. Make sure that we have black selected. Oh, I also need to go and I'm going to select the ellipse selection tool. I'm going to start it up, move it, put it in about where I think the center is, and then start scaling it to size. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm now going to go to the settings. I'm going to say expand from center and fixed aspect ratio. I'm going to zoom in, and I want my dark area to start about right there. So I'm going to leave it like that. Go back to my airbrush and start filling in. This is going to take quite a while, so I'm going to pause the video so I can get it done and show you what it looks like when I get it done, so please bear with me. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I get finished. So the white area will be the most shiny, darker will be less. You can say the front of it very shiny, less, and the sides less. So I can turn that off now, and then to see the full effect, go back over, do a right mouse click on your layer for this specularity, click off show layer mask, and now where you see the darker area will be the highest specular effect, and this will be the less. Same thing here and there. So now I want to lighten our image. So I'm going to go to colors. I'm going to go to brightness and contrast. And I'm going to start lightening it up. Oops, I forgot something. Boom. Hold on. Okay. So what I forgot to do is turn off Edit Layer Mask. So make sure you have that unchecked. Then you can go back, go Colors, Brightness and Contrast, and start lightening it up. So I'm going to go to about right there. So that's a full 127 on the brightness. Say OK. So this is going to be our specularity map. So we're going to go File. I'm going to save, and I'm going to go File, Export as Instrument Specularity, or specular.png is good. So let's go Export. Save everything default, go Export. And now we're going to make our DDS file. And you also need to go, if you haven't already, you need to go to GIMP and look up add-ons for DDS formats and install that on your GIMP. So now I'm going to, first thing I have to do is flip my image. So I need to go, I need to load my actual spectral image in my image we just made. So I'm going to close this one. I'm going to go File and Open. I'm going to open the instrument specular.png. I'm then going to go Layers, Transform, Flip. Okay. Then I'm going to go File, Export As, and right here I'm going to go DDS and Export. And there we go. Okay, compression. Remember we want to do a DXT5. We want to make our MIP maps and say OK. Okay, so that's done. Now we need to go and make our light map. And we need, let's see, a light map, and okay, we're not going to do a normal. So all we need to do is the light map. So let's get going on that. So I'm going to discard that. I don't want to save that. Okay, so let's start our emissive map, or our light map. So let's look and see what a emissive map does. So it adds light to an area of an object surface which have been defined as or in the emissive map. Objects, including aircraft, are also affected by the lighting value in the rendering engine. So basically, what it goes on and says, anything that is black, a pure black, will not affect the image or the texture when it's rendered. Any other color other than black will show up as light on the texture in the flight simulator's rendering engine. So you can see here they do gradients, you can do colors, anything other than black. So let's go down, let's start GIMP. What we're going to do, we're going to load in the UV map. So let's go open our UV map. And we're going to save it or rename. So let's go Save As. Go to Textures. I want to call it Instrument LM for Light Map. Okay. So basically what we want, we're going to do full white for the inner part and blacker or black or dark as we get to the outside, because remember this is a cylinder type, or it's half of a cylinder, so this is going in toward the face and this is going out of the face. So if you turn this to its side, you would see that it's like this. So anything in this part is going to be white, on the other side it will be dark. So let me go ahead and start doing that. I'm going to add another layer. So new layer, I'm going to leave it LM, that's fine. We're fine. I'm going to move this layer beneath the light in the UV map. And I'm going to start filling that in. So I'm going to get my ellipse tool. I'm going to leave it expand from center and fixed aspect ratio. Okay, that's pretty close. Okay, so now I'm going to reduce, well, let's go ahead and make everything white in that area. So let's make sure we pick a true white, FF, 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 say OK. Let's go to the bucket fill and fill. Okay, so we have our light starting out. I'm going to let the light go to probably right there and then dark. So I'm going to go back to my ellipse tool, click in the middle, bring it down to about right there. I'm going to invert it, or invert my selection. I'm going to go to the pencil, and I'm going to go to black, a complete black. Okay, I'm going to pause this right now so I can go ahead and get this going, and it won't take up as much as my recording, or my time on the recording. So I'm going to pause. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I got finished. This is with the UV map over it. So if we go back to layers, cut it off, this is what I've done. So you can see with this here, this area will be lit, this will not be lit, the front of the face will be lit, the back will not, and the sides and the top and bottom will be lit. So this is our light map. So I can turn that off, or you want to uncheck that. Let's go Save, and we'll go File, Export. Want to change this to PNG. Whoa. .png. Enter. Leave it all default. Export. And we're going to close this. Go File, Open. Go back to our textures. Open the lightmap PNG. We're going to make our DDS file now. Remember, we do not want any type of alpha channel, so I need to remove alpha channel. Let's go File and Export Lightmap PNG. Then we're going to go and we're going to go Layers, Transform, Flip Image. We'll go File, Export As, DDS. We're now going to make it a DXT1, generate maps, and say OK. Okay, so we have our specular map and light map done now. So I don't want to change that. And next we will go into start applying our textures in Blender. Okay, so let's open Blender. Okay, so here we are. We now want to start applying our textures. So let's click on the outside ring by itself. Let's go to the materials. And let's make sure, okay, Instrument M. Oh, we need to remove this texture. So we no longer need this texture here. So we're going to remove it. And we're going to start setting up our FSX materials. Okay, I'm going to leave everything as it is. Diffuse intensity 1, specular intensity 1. The hardness, I'm going to leave 50. And we want to, if this is closed, go ahead and open it. Click on FSX material parameters. Now to get this, all the information and how to set up all these here, you need to go back to your documentation for Flight Simulator. And we need to click on, let me find it. FSX Materials. Let's display it. Wait until it's loaded completely. Okay, so if you've used Gmax or 3ds Max, this is how theirs is set up. And Blender's a little bit different on doing the specular or applying a map or a texture map. But if you go down, each one of these you click on will tell you what it's for. Other map or other texture information is for adding higher detail to your texture map. So there's other maps you can add to your diffused map. And this is what this part is for. Frenzel ramp is not supported by Blender 2FSX toolset that I believe at this point. Precipitation is basically how your texture, you set up how your texture maps are going to work with FSX's particle system for like rain and fog and stuff like that. Special functions is basically for setting up materials that are mirror or aluminum, chrome, shiny objects. And if you go through in each one of them, it'll explain what each one of them is used for. It says this one blends the reflection texture or environment map by inverse of the diffused alpha. So if you're using a reflection map, you can use your alpha channel with the inverse of the environment. So each one of these will give you different functions. The one I usually use is just use global environment map as reflection. Then you can set the reflection scale and the specular map power. Down here is setting up for bloom, and you see allow bloom, no specular bloom, bloom material by copy. So the different ways of setting up that. Frame buffer is basically setting up for transparencies or complete opaque. So that's what these are for. Emissive properties is basically your light or the light mode or light map. Depending if you're going to use user control, depending on how the system reacts when you put on the lights, how you're going to affect the rendering engine for showing lights is how this is set up. And this one's an additive right now. Usually I use blend user control. Material alpha testing is basically to allow you to set up or to control on what layer of objects with an object either you want it in front or behind the transparency. So if you have glass being rendered behind something that should be in front of, behind the glass, and you have the glass rendering in back of the object, you can set your Z-test alpha level, and this will move it either up or back. I hope I explained that good, or good enough. If not, let me know. Final alpha blend is just that, the final alpha blend as it gets ready to render. Either it's going to be completely transparent, you're going to do the overall transparent or opaque. And then you have your settings down here. No base material specular, you want to make sure to have that, so you do have a specular effect in FSX. And then you can read each one of these. You can see as I click on them, they'll give you a definition of each one of them. You need to go in and study all this. And then aircraft material parameters, basically if it's a material for a virtual cockpit panel texture, or for in number texture, if you're going to use texture for the number plate. So that's how you set up these, or how you get your definitions for each one of them. So let's go ahead and go into Blender. Okay, so we have our object here, our instrument. We're going to click on the outside. Let's see. So we're not going to be setting up anything on other textures. Remember, we don't use Frenzel ramp. We're not going to mess anything with precipitation. I'm not going to put any type of reflection in at this point. Use global environment as your reflection, we would do, but we're not going to do that. We're going to put allow bloom. Leave that set to opaque. And I don't want to use additive night only. I want to do blend user controlled. We're not going to worry about z-test for the alpha or final blend of the alpha. And we will make sure this one's set. So that's basically all we need to do for this one. Then we're going to go to the materials. We need to delete that material that was there. I already did that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did it before. But we did have our instrument that we have showing here on there. So now we're going to go and we're going to make a new texture. We're going to say open. We're going to go to our textures. We're going to use our texture instrument texture.png. Okay, so there that is. We're going to go down, make sure that we're using our UV map that we've set up. And because this is the diffused, we're going to leave it at 100%. So everything stays default here. So we'll go back up. I'm going to hit File to save. Now we're going to add our specular map. So we're going to click on the next map. We're going to hit New. Oops, let me rename this. I want to name this Diffused. And name this one Specular. Let's scroll down. Let's go Open. Go to Textures. We want to go to our Instrument Specular PNG. Open. Okay. Now we're going to scroll down. Choose our UV map. And now we want to uncheck the diffused color. We want to go to Specular and go to Color. We'll leave it mixed. So there's that one. Now to see things start happening, we can go here, choose Material. So you can see we have quite a bit of specularity in it right now. The face has way too much, so we're going to have to kind of cut that down. Okay, next we're going to do the light map. So go New. Let's do light map. Scroll down. Open. Texture. We're going to do our airspeed. Oh, no. Instrument light speed. Light map. There it is. Instrument light map PNG. Open. Okay, it's making that weird color right now because we have it showing as a diffused. and we want to choose our UV map. We're going to go down now, turn off this diffuse specular color, and we're going to go to shading and go emit. And I want to go to emit, and we'll do 0.50. And I want to change this mix to add. Okay, so that sets up everything for that. So now we're going to take this same texture. Oh, we also need to do it on the UV. So let's hit the tab to go in edit mode. Let's delete this one. Click there and go, what did I call this one? Oh, instrument T. Okay, so that's good. Let's go tab. Let's click on our needle. Let's get rid of the needle material. Click on the little icon for your materials and choose Instrument M. And that will set up everything the way we had it before, because it's the same material. Now we need to do tab to go into edit mode. We need to delete this one and choose our Instrument T. That's the right one. Instrument M. I chose the wrong one. Okay, I did wrong. Let's delete that one. Go open, textures, instrument. Oh, no, that was right. Yeah, that was right. I'm sorry. I got confused for a minute. We want to use that one there because that is our diffused map. Okay, so we have everything right now. So go off edit mode. Okay, that looks good. Now let's click on our face. And we didn't have to make the light map for this one because we're basically going to be using the very same texture. I just duplicated and put airspeed light map because remember, black will show nothing and any color other than black will be additive or added to your texture when the user hits for lights or instrument lights. So we're going to go to textures. We're going to add a new texture. Actually, I want to rename this one to diffused.001. Click on it, add a new one. We're going to call this one lightmap.001. Scroll down. Let's go open. Go to textures. Go to airspeed light map PNG. Open. We will scroll down. Choose our UV map. Scroll down, take it off diffuse color. And here we need to go shading, emit. And we'll do 0.50. Go back up. We need to set the settings for material for the face. We're going to take the specularity down to 0.250. Turn on FSX materials. Now I didn't put a glass in front of this. If you did, we would have had to make a transparent setting for the face. of the glass for the instrument. We're not going to do anything on high detail. We're not going to do anything for high detail. Can't use Frenzel ramp, remember. Precipitation we're not going to use. We're not going to do anything on the reflections. We're going to allow it to do a bloom. Make sure this is set to default, set opaque. We need to change this from additive to Blender user controlled. And everything looks good. So let's hit File and Save. Now we can see the specularity on it. And now let's go back to our project. I need to delete the ones I did previously. And we're now going to make our MDL files. So export, DirectX. We're going to go to our model. We're going to go export model and export. Okay, so we can close this. Go to our model. We're going to choose our copy. And I'll also give you guys the file that I'm using in FSX as the test plane. And it's not a test plane, it just has the instrument there. But I need to open that. Scroll down, go to test plane. Okay, and we'll paste it in. And I'll just change that to go to that one, to here. Let's see. Texturing correctly. I need to add underscore VIDE, VO, and file and save. And let's close this. Oops. Yeah, I closed it. Okay, then we need to go and get our DDS files. So we need to go back to our model file. We need to go to textures. Oh, I forgot to make a texture for these two. So we need to open them and make textures for these. So let's open this one first. Remember, you need to flip it. So go Layers, Transform, Flip Vertically, File, Export As. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Export. Yeah, Export As. We want to go DDS. This does not have a alpha channel, so I'm going to go DXT1, and I want to make my bitmaps. Go OK, and we'll close this one. We'll file Open. Open our light map for the face. Go Layers, Flip Vertically, File, Export As, DDS. Again, we do not use a alpha channel for this, so DXT1 and generate bitmaps. Close this one. Don't save changes. Get that one and that one and that one and that one. Oh, you know what? I forgot to make one for this too. So let's go make this one. So we want to go Layers, Transform, Flip, File, export as DDS. Now this one does have the alpha channel. Remember, for the specular fall off. Oh, wait a minute. No, we do have an alpha channel, but we have it fully transparent, so we're not going to be using it. So we'll go ahead and use DXT5, and we'll generate maps or MIP maps, and we close and close. Okay, so now we need this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So copy. Oops, close that one. Oh, I've already got them there. It's okay. And paste. Okay. So next, I can't show you my FSX running because it does not work well with my screen capturing device that I'm using. So I'm going to put images up on it, but you're going to have the model. I'm going to give you the Blender file model that you can use and run with it, or run through this video with it, and I'm also going to give you the test file for putting the aircraft into FSX so you can see how it looks. Okay. So let me do that real fast. Well, this is the end of the video. I thank you for watching the video, and part 2 will be coming as soon as I can. That will be lighting a lamp, and I'm going to set it up with the operation of the landing gear. So when the landing gear are in the full down lock position, we'll have a lamp come on, and when the landing gear go up, the lamp will go off. So I thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.